Hey guys, quick update on the German DAX. What you see here is a 4-hour time frame with two bearish wither wave wedges in red. We have that big one which got really nice reconfirmed on the lower trend line over here, and then last week on Thursday we got that retest coming from underneath as well. So the market actually recognized these two patterns. This one here is a little twin. It came all the way, overshoot it here a lot after making the 5, and then it came all the way down and we almost hit that target line. We still have to wait for that. That move isn't over in my point of view, because once we talk about that triple zigzag, you know why. So these zigzags usually consist out of 5 legs to the downside, and then they are covered by an ABC to the upside, and then there are the next 5 legs down and another ABC up, and that keeps repeating until there are 3 legs to the downside. So the first leg is called a W, then it's covered by the X and Y, and most of you know the WXY correction, but since we had another one up and down, we put here a double X, and it finishes off with a Z, and that makes it a zigzag. And usually these things, they don't like to be by themselves, and they after the first move, there is most of the time an ABC correction. That's what happened here last week. Even we had a very large C, but I mentioned that also in my weekend video, that that push here happened almost under no volume. So that was a very large C, but since we had no volume, and you also could see it in the Vdax, that German volatility index, that there is something wrong with that move to the upside. So on Thursday, that selling pressure came in, and with the US markets, we finished off yesterday with a new low. While having a closer look on this leg here to the downside, it looks much more intense than this one or this one over here. There weren't really any breaks in it. It's larger, yes, but in my point of view, it still qualifies as our first leg and our zigzag as a W. I mean, it could turn out to be a complete new impulse to the downside, and there might be a large 3 to the downside coming up, but right now I still prefer that scenario, that this is the start of a new zigzag. And what I would like to see is, and I mentioned that also on a few tweets earlier, I like to see an ABC or some overlapping or something like this taking place. And you don't really see it in that 4-hour time frame right now, but once we switch over to the hourly chart, you see just by making these lows this morning, there's that overlapping process taking place right now. So it doesn't really look as strong as we need, like to have a full new move to the upside, or like a new impulsive move, which is not really taking place. So the next question might be, how far are we moving to the upside now? Once we measure these retracements from these ABCs to the upside, and here with another ABC, you don't see it in this chart here, but they hit the 50% retracement quite well. So they made a 50% correction of this move to the upside, and the same happened here with a 50% retracement to the upside. And once we have a look on these retracements I put here, we got to that 38 this morning, and there might be another approach before we come down probably again, or we are already on our way up to that 50, or even that 61.8 at 14,314, because that actually fits quite well with these lows we made over here, and that was for quite a while kind of a resistance over like 2-3 days from the week, I think it was before last week even, that, yeah. So that's about that zigzag of 4-hour time frame, and let's hop over to another chart I would like to show you. So this is my 2-hour chart out of the Cetera, and so it's based on the cash market, but I see there aren't any price levels here right now, so there's something wrong with my broker. But anyways, I just wanted to show you that move to the downside, that first one, that's our first zigzag, and I count this here as an A, and we had that B move to the upside, and I'm waiting now to finish off that C if this works out. And in blue you see that pattern which turns out of that. It's a bullish falling Wilbur wave wedge, and just having a look on this target line here, there were a lot of retesting and reconfirmations on their target line already. So that thing looks really smooth if it works out, and then I expect something to the beginning of May, mid-May, to make a new low here in this area. Even we probably hit that 61.8 retracement at 13,388. And there are one more chart waiting for you. Give me a sec. So here's that last thing I wanted to show you. And this is actually very important, and in my point of view, it's a warning sign. You see weekly charts here, and the one on the top is a DAX. This is a Vdax, a volatility index of the DAX. In other words, it's our VIX, and this is the MACD of the Vdax. And now have a look on the DAX here to start with. You see, first of all, these shooting star candles. This one here as well, but this one isn't really occurring at the top. But it doesn't really look that good in my point of view, just like considering these candles. And now have a look on these red arrows I placed here on the DAX and on the Vdax. We made that high on the 28th of March at 14,925, and then that lower high at 14,598 on last Thursday, and it's based on the cash market. So it was roughly like 300 points lower than this high here. But have a look what the VIX did. He made a new low with that high, but they kept crushing it all the way down to 23. Even we didn't make a new high anywhere close. So there is like a divergence in it, and that doesn't look healthy at all. And I mentioned that was that spike over here. It was occurring under no volume at all, and I was mentioning that like many times, and the Vdax was a second signal actually that there's something really off here. And now have a look at that other thing I noticed, and I use that actually quite a lot, the MACD of the Vdax. Most of you know the MACD is just the momentum, and most people just use that crossing to have that signal of a turning point in a bear or bull market on the weekly. But when you look at that crush all the way to the downside, have a look what happened to the MACD. It hasn't really changed negative. It's totally in the positive phase. It's supposed to be somewhere down here. That tells me that there's still actually a lot of volatility in there, and that thing is about to curl up. Even we had that crossing. So that is actually another thing which seems to be very off to me, and you should consider that as well. So that's about it. I got another very big chart in the DAX for you. It's also weekly, but I'll make a separate video on that. That's a long-term outlook for the next week or even the next month. I hope you liked that one, and yeah, give me a thumb up or follow me on Twitter or on YouTube. I put the link in the description, and I wish you all the best and have a great remaining week. Thanks for watching.